joke about is the Hal's one-liners.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wanted to start like a segment or some sort of like episode where it's literally Hal. It'll be like a 30-second short, and it's just Hal. It's just smells good. All right, let's get to the palate. Awesome.
Great. Or
Great. Shit.
Good old dapper.
Another night, another show. Good friends, good poor stories about past, because it's more than what's in the glass. Welcome to the Wicked Whiskey Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Matthew Clark here, and we have the first ever Wicked Whiskey Podcast episode. We are going to be calling this one "It's More Than What's in the Glass," and we will get into that further. We are down here in Pop's Basement Bar. Few topics we're going to get into is, what is Wicked Whiskey Society? What does it mean when you say it's more than what's in the glass? We'll get into men's mental health. We'll talk a little bit about my brother-in-law, John, and then we'll go from there. But first things first, my name's Matt. I'm a father. I have 2 kids, 3 and 1, married to my wife, Angela. I am in the 1421 Building Wreckers Union. Long story short, I do demolition and dismantling. I operate heavy equipment and labor. My hobbies really are just this whiskey stuff and, my firearms and just, being a dad, doing dad stuff.
Hi, my name is John Mondu. I am one of the co-founders of Wicked Whiskey Society. I am a father, grandfather, husband, been married to my wife Heather for 30 plus years now. Goals. I am a change safety systems engineer for a large company that probably most of you don't know, which is cool. And yeah, I've been actually on this journey for quite some time. I think I started around 2015-ish. But again, I'm 50 years old. I've probably been drinking for like the past 20 of those years, or 30. Welcome to our first podcast.
So I'm very excited about this. This is something I've thought about since we basically first started this whole group, doing a podcast and talking about this stuff. Like you said, you've been doing this for a long time, and I wouldn't say I'm fairly new. I've always loved whiskey, and I've always been into it, but I've never really been into like the history of it and into it like I am today. So I would say my bourbon journey started maybe about like a year and a half ago, like realistically, if you want to talk about when it comes to like hunting bottles and notes and reviews and palettes and all that fun stuff that comes with it, and learning the history, the prohibition and distilleries and when it all started. That being said,
I was gonna say, it's like, when I kind of like knew you right when you were in the beginning.
Exactly, yeah.
Me personally, around 2015 is when I really started getting into learning about the history and really becoming more of a scholar about whiskey. And then I actually just went down a stupid rabbit hole, went full potato, and started getting into tequilas and gins and rums and cognacs. I started learning about that. So when I actually met you, you were right in the infancy of your journey, and just being a part of actually helping you grow has been awesome.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is back when achieving your first Blantons was like the best thing in the world. Like, I feel like a lot of people when they start their journey and they start hunting and they start like hunting stores.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I started back in 15 and all stuff, it was like everybody says, "Oh, go find yourself a Blanton's,"
right?
And it's like, okay, now it's I try to steer people away from it because it's good. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It is good. It is good.
But there's so much
bourbon,
better.
but there's so much better,
and there's so much better for less. But it is that it is that like first bottle. I feel like a lot of beginners hunt and they get, and it's you get that dopamine, and that's just the start of that whole.
And then you go down that rabbit hole.
You go down that rabbit hole, and then you end up with John's basement bar here. I mean, my collection, I went from 5 to about 180. I think I'm at now, with less than 2 years. I think I started again when I met you. I think I only had like less than 10.
It's funny when you actually hosted your first share at your house. I first walked into his house, and the first words out of my mouth was, "I'm so proud of you."
That's right. Because see it now.
Just saw his cabinets, and it was fun.
And even from the last time you were at my house to where it's at now, you're probably gonna say it again. I mean, it's completely different. There's way more. So let's get into what is Wicked Whiskey Society. Who are we? How did we start? So I guess I'll kind of give my quick little version because I mean it's much deeper than how it started. Basically, the Mass Bourbon group on Facebook. I met a couple people on there. I got a text message saying, "Hey, there's this guy John from New Hampshire. He's hosting a bottle share. He's got a bunch of cool bottles, and it's just gonna be cool. A bunch of people bringing stuff." And I was asked if I wanted to join, so I ended up joining the group chat. We all introduced each other. Everyone seemed really cool, and my wife's like, "You're gonna really go down to like New Hampshire and hang out with a bunch of random old people that you don't fucking know, or some random people?" And I was just like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like this guy's got cool bourbons, and this is I hadn't tried a bunch of stuff, so." I went down, and she actually came with me. We had something in New Hampshire that we were doing. I think it was my niece's party or something like that, and it was like an hour drive. So I was like, "Babe," and she was like, "All right." So we ended up coming here, and then I guess from my part of the story and my beginning of it, that's kind of where it all started for me, anyways. But I know it's deeper. It started kind of before that with you and Adam.
Yeah. So. I've been friends with a local distillery, Copper Cannon, for several years, and one of the employees there, Adam Bay, good guy and all stuff. We've hung out every time I go to Copper Cannon. We just clicked and all stuff, and we ended up talking about it, and it's like, you know what, we don't have any kind of community here in New Hampshire and all stuff it's just all stuff that's on Facebook. We don't get to do bottle shares or whatever. We don't get to do anything. Why don't we do that? And so we came up with this idea of just doing the bottle shares. Very first one, Adam posted a bunch of Facebook posts and all stuff about doing a share. I kind of like said, yeah, let's do it. And then the day came, I showed up. It was just me and Adam and a table, his dining room table, full of just these really cool bottles, and it was like nobody else showed up, and it was like, it kind of was like heartening, but at the same time, it actually says we need to do better,
right?
And it's like we need to actually like do something because this is just not cool. So me and Adam just talked, and we kind of like said, let's try it again. And so the next one was at my house. It was before Pop-Up's bar was actually even a thing. It was just my den full of wall whiskey and floor whiskeys.
The fish tank whiskey.
My fish tank of whiskey. And this time I reached out to Massachusetts and New Hampshire Facebook groups and just local groups or whatever, and just put out there, it's like, we're looking to do a bottle share, come on down. And I didn't know what to expect. We actually had a couple people say that they were going to come, and there was more that said that they didn't know to, and if they were going to. I had one person actually like reach out and says, "Hey, can I actually invite a friend over and do this?" And so I said, yeah, just more the merrier. And so that was the very first one that you actually attended, where we pulled up and everybody came out and all stuff. Again, I didn't know any of these guys, except for and even Adam couldn't make it and all stuff. But so it was just a small group. I think it was like 6 of us. and we cracked some good bottles.
We did.
And we started talking more about whiskey. We started talking about our lives. I think the theme of that pour or that share was bring something that actually like either got you into whiskey, or that actually is something meaningful for. And people brought some really cool bottles, even though, you know, unfortunately, because I have some shit, it's stuff that I've had, but it's learning the stories about why that was special to people. That was actually what kind of like was cool. And then we just grew from there.
Right. We did the infinity bottles too. I know we all brought some infinities.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did.
We all kind of tested that out too. I think mine ended up winning, but they were all good because
I
again,
think mine won.
I'll have to revisit that. But no, what was cool about that too is because like again, like those infinity bottles had their own stories too. Because you know, Hal is a Scotch guy, so he kind of had like a Scotch one, and then you know, that was, to me, was like, oh, that would be good around a campfire. And then like I'm a sucker for maple, so mine was more maple,
sweet maple,
desserty, and then yours was just
mine was just actually a blend of actually like really good bottles that I actually enjoyed. I think 17 different bottles and stuff, and it was just, you know, it was just a good night. And
it was, and then it just grew from there. I remember we were like, we got to do this once a month, and that once a month turned to like, you know, maybe twice a month, and then
it's like whenever we could.
Yeah, and then you know the group started to grow. We started adding a few other people, and you know we were doing like vibe check. You know, they passed the vibe, they were in. You know,
and it was we've done it at a couple of our. We consider that like first meeting, that first group as our core group.
Right.
Those are the founding members. Those are the people in that first share are the ones that we actually all got together and we wanted to build something more. So that actually became our core group. We added a couple more people that actually helped us along the way, and you know, stuff. You know, some people left, some people are actually not as active, all stuff. But you know, it was we actually like grew to be just a good friendship.
Right.
And then we decided, you know, it was here in this room after this was built and all stuff. We were actually having a share in this room, and we kind of like decided, you know, why don't we actually put a name to this group?
Right.
And that's where I personally think Wicked Whiskey Society started, is when we actually decided to actually make it into something more than just, you know, 12 of us actually sitting here having a pour.
Right. We'd have to call it something. You know what I mean? Because you got all these groups and stuff, and it's like, well, what are we then? Like, I know we're just like a group of people and just coming here for shares, but like, what are we? Like, because we're a society, I guess. You know, we're Wicked Whiskey Society.
Yeah.
We came up with a couple different names, and I remember voting on different stuff, and then logos. We came up with logos, and thank God for ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. But the big thing is, and also, if we wanted something that actually like incorporated what we were as a group.
Right.
There's different demographics there and all stuff. We actually have different political beliefs. We have different, you know, like races. We have different, you know,
political views.
Political views. And none of that matters.
That's what's
and
crazy.
So we wanted it actually to be a society of, you know, of a mishmash of people.
Right.
And we love that. And that was actually pretty cool.
If you put us, so put it this way, like if you put this group together and you took out the whole whiskey aspect of why we were here, it'd be a dumpster fire. You know what I mean? If we actually talked about like the politicals and like what's the current event, and I feel like that's what's so good about this group too, is because none of that comes to the table. Like that all stays away. We come here for the same reason. We come here to talk. But
at the same time, and also we can actually civilly talk about that, because we're not here because of those beliefs and all stuff. But you know, I've actually had conversations with some of our groups and stuff that they don't believe in my political views, but we actually sat down and we actually had a conversation. And that's the big thing and all stuff. And that's one of the problems we have in the world right now, is nobody
can't talk. You can't talk to nobody. And again, like you were saying though, like when we come together, we can actually talk like civil human beings, and like we don't try to bring up anything political. Sometimes it gets mixed in there, but it doesn't. Nothing ever turns into a fight. It's never like, you know, it doesn't become an argument. It's just like, and it kind of makes you look at things a little different. You can actually see their side of the story without someone, jumping down your throat and screaming at you and saying you're wrong. It's like, you can talk like civil adults and you can actually see their point of view and what they're trying to get across. You might not agree with it, but you know what I mean?
But that's actually like, that's the human nature and all that stuff. You don't have to agree. You just have to actually have the, open-mindedness to actually like understand that it's, everybody has their own views, whether you agree with it or not. Unless you're actually talking about rye and then you're just wrong. or peated. What was it? The Walmart bike aisle. You're smelling the tires of the Walmart bike aisle of peated Scotch. Then you're just wrong.
I think that's why I love this group the most too, because again, we're all so different in so many ways, but we come here as normal people and talk, and we can express ourselves, and we can vent, and we all listen to each other, and then that's really why I love this group so much, and I'm glad it's. Well, actually, kind of what brings us to like the next little kind of question or topic is, like when you kind of first started this too, like what was your expectation of like this? Like, where did you see this group? Like, did you see it being where it is today?
No,
like,
no, 100% no. We've talked about this in the past, just not on in front of a camera with people watching, but my goal for this group was just to actually get a group of people together to actually talk about more than what, again, it's where our slogan comes from, and also if it's more than what's in the glass.
Right.
So my goal was to actually just bring education to whiskey or spirits in general, to a few people, help them on their journey, but actually like more have a place to talk, to actually just, if you're having a bad day, or if you're like going through some shit and you need somebody to, talk to, a lot of the times, your spouse or your significant other and all stuff is not the best person to talk to, because you don't want to burden them.
Exactly. You don't want them to
with
worry about what
the
you're
worries
about.
And all stuff. So you wanted like-minded people that are also going through some shit that you can sit down, have a pour, and not worry about it. So my idea was, let's get a bottle share group, get a couple of guys over just to actually sit down, hang out, and talk. And so it was more, maybe it was a little bit guilty because it was more of like a selfish thing for me and all stuff, because I wanted something to help me get through a lot of shit that I've been dealing with, and, in my head and all stuff. But at the same time, I wanted to actually have this group to help others that are going through shit. And you've been through some shit. I've been through some shit.
Which I was going to get to is this group. I think exactly has done that for me personally. It has gotten me through quite amount of shit. Again, I'm in my head a lot. As a father, a blue collar worker, am I good enough? Am I a good father? Am I a good husband? Just stuff that typically, I got a lot of I have a long drive to work, so this is kind of just what goes through my head. And it puts you down, even though you could be the best father in the world, you can be the best husband, but you still, I think as a man, you just always feel like there's more you can do, you can provide more, and this group, it quiets that, you know what I mean, because we're all the same, we all talk about the same stuff, we all kind of have the same stuff that we're battling, going through, but again, we'll say it 1,000 times in this podcast, it's more than what's in the glass. We're not here for the bourbon, and we're not here to get drunk.
I mean, it helps.
It does. It does.
It does help. But I mean, the thing is, and this, we've actually even experienced this within our group or whatever, is there's a lot of people out there that are actually bottle chasers, and that are actually looking for all the Tater bottles and the Wellers and the Blantons and things like that. To the point where we had a theme night and all stuff of budget bourbons, and we had people actually not want to attend because they were budget bottles. I mean, it's
I wouldn't drive that far for a $15 bottle.
Yeah,
but again,
but
that's
it's not.
why we
It's
were
not
driving.
the point. It's the point is actually learning about that there actually are better decent bottles at the lower price. So you're not actually like spending $300-400 on a bottle.
Right.
You can spend 20 and be just as happy. But at the same time, it's an excuse to get us together, and and it was just a theme, and so that's one of those things where, that's what I wanted to actually bring to the group. Is I wanted to make sure that we're not chasing what's in the glass. We're not chasing a bottle. We're actually, experiencing differences in the bottles. I mean, it's great when we actually get those tater bottles and all stuff in, and we actually get to try them, but that's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for that let's hang out, try some things, talk about it, and then spend the rest of the night actually just shooting the shit and just having a time.
It's therapy.
It's therapy.
You know
it's
what I mean?
100% therapy.
And you come here, you kind of talk about your week, we listen to each other, and then, we let it all out, and then we start drinking, and then we start...
and then we get trashed off with some really good shit.
Yeah, and then we start drinking some good stuff, and then, then obviously as you drink, the more feelings come out.
Yeah, and then it just...
But, I've never left a share feeling worse than I did. I've always felt better leaving every share, and I've always gone home with a much clearer mind, less weight on my shoulders, stuff that I got off my chest, and I talked to you guys again. Stuff that you don't want to put on your family, like my siblings, my wife, stuff that I don't want to burden them with.
Yeah.
Because we've all gone through some shit, and it's just like my sister's going through some shit. My brother's, he's got his business. He's stressed out all the time. I don't want to add any more stress that they have to worry about me now. So
well, it's the same thing, and I've said this, to my wife too. It's like I go through some shit. I have a lot of shit in my head, and there's so many metaphors and all stuff that I've actually come up with. I've even written freaking stupid ass AI songs.
No, because you got me into that now too. Now I got that's therapeutic.
And it's just like writing things and down, and then you actually like you think about it and all stuff, and it's like you're going through a lot of stuff, and this is going to tie into like men's health, and this is something that I wanted to really get into, is because June's Men's Health Awareness Month, and
something I get a lot of pride into.
And this is something that means a lot to me because I've lost a lot of friends because of men's mental health issues, and but to be able to sit here and have a group that actually has like-minded issues that we can talk about it, get things off of our chest. And this is actually something why we wanted to actually grow, because we wanted to actually get our message out to, the masses. Right. And, it's fun. It's actually something that, you've been actually like really taking off on and going full potato on.
I have gone full potato,
but
full baked, loaded.
To get back to what you're saying, I never thought that we would actually get to this point where I'm sitting in front of a camera with mics in my face. So
I always envisioned it, but I never thought we would be here, and here we are, and I'm excited. Same thing, I think kind of nailed everything. I didn't expect us to be here, and when the whole thing started, I thought it was just going to be us getting together every now and then, having a little barbecue and drinking some bourbon, but it really ended up turning into something way more than that. And when one of the last years we had on the 1 year anniversary, when you were just kind of like, I'm going to step back a little bit and let me take it off, and I took off full speed.
Yeah.
And especially with June coming up, I really wanted to get this men's mental health thing out there and promote that, and because that's, again, people think bourbon and alcohol, like they instantly say, well, you're a drunk, or
you're an alcoholic,
and it's, again, it's more than what's in the glass. I say you hear this entire podcast, it is literally more than that. It is not just getting drunk with your friends, it is so much more than that. And again, mentally, this group has helped me a lot. It's therapeutic, and it's fun. We do chase bottles. We have a group. We all get to try stuff that you never thought you'd try.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like,
if I don't get it, someone else will.
Someone's going to have it, and we're going to be able to try something. And our very first first pour, I cracked open.
Let's get into that.
Well, I want to get into this because I've been staring at this bottle.
I know.
For a while. So our very first share, when I invited people into my house, didn't know what was going to happen, who they were, and all that stuff. And I opened my house to them and all stuff, and wanted to make them feel welcome. So the very first bottle that we actually cracked open was something very special to me. I think it's really special to you now.
It is. It is.
So I cracked open a brand new Jack Daniel's 14.
Yep.
And batch 1. This was again a year ago when it first came out.
I was like, holy shit!
everybody that was there and all stuff, I cracked it open and poured it because I knew that this was going to be something special.
Right.
And so now.
So yeah, a little over a year later.
Very first podcast.
Which
we're rambling, and I'm sorry if you're bored.
So batch 1. First share, John cracked it, and I thought it would only make sense to crack the batch 2 Jack 14. You know, this is our first podcast. I didn't know much about Jack Daniels when I first started this, and then because of John, he lined up the whole lineup for me. We went through, age statements, but it wasn't even just the age statements or the allocated stuff. We ran through the single barrel proofs, the rye. We went through number 7, Sinatra.
Yeah.
And he really opened my eyes.
I think did we actually open up the whole 1985 bottle too?
I don't remember. Actually, maybe I forget.
Just to show you the difference between how it was back in the
Right.
80s compared to now.
But during that time, I was actually laid off, so I was actually in my own head too. So like, I came over here during the weekday. It was like a Tuesday or something like that, and I basically came here to kind of just, let off some steam and kind of vent and talk. And you were like, "Come on over," and we ended up doing all the Jacks, and that's why Jack's special to me, and. Now you nominated me as a squire. We're both squires. So again, it only makes sense to crack the Jack 14 batch 2. First podcast, first one we ever cracked together was batch 1. And this was, again, this is why I love this community. This was given to me, just handed over to me by one of our members, Steve. Just because he just wanted to do something nice for somebody, and he didn't want me to have the fear of missing out. Because I kind of accepted the fact that I probably I can't get so
you can keep talking.
Struggling, but he didn't want me to miss out, and he ended up winning it. I'm not gonna go into details on how, but yeah, he ended up winning it and just handed it over, and I'm forever grateful, man. Because I was trying to explain this to my wife that this isn't just a bottle you can just go and pick up on the shelf. This is very limited, very hard to get, and if you can't get it, it's very expensive. Goes up to like $600, $650, sometimes even more, depending. Like
more than that.
And this was less than $100, basically what he ended up getting it for, and he was just like, "Here." So, before we continue, let's get this pour in. We'll do a Jack 14 pop, and as always, these Jack Daniels, man, they pop. Is that why they call you Pop?
No, it's not. I don't even. That actually was my grandkids also.
Right.
So, but it just stuck, and now I actually have Pop Pop's bar, and I even have signs and glens and all stuff that say Pop Pops on them. So,
it's dark. It's got a great color.
Batch 2. I'll let that. I want to let that.
Yeah,
sit
I'm gonna
for a
let it
little
sit, and we'll sip it. I mean, I have tried it before, but again, I mean, a lot of times that I've tried it, it was kind of like later on in the night, so
Yeah.
you couldn't really get the full,
Well,
palate was kind of right. But
for a lot of you that don't know and probably have not saw my video and all that stuff, Jack Daniels is not your grandfather's old number 7 nowadays. They've come up with so many different expressions and different releases that if you think of Jack Daniels and you think of just old number 7, you're just so wrong. There's so much nice stuff out there.
there really is.
Even the basic Jack Daniels Bonded is just jumps ahead of what old number 7 used to be. I remember, as a kid sitting around a campfire and all stuff, getting in a fight with trees and all stuff because of old number 7. But nowadays, it's so much more sophisticated, so much more to it, and it's kind of like us, as a group or whatever. You could take the same mash bill, the same thing, and also throw it in different ways and push it in different ways, age it in different ways, and everything comes out unique.
I was saying it earlier how crazy it is. Like, this is why it's so unique. This is why it's so, like, interesting to me, and I feel like this is why I'm attached to it. Is because, like, again, just how you char it, how you age it, where it sits, what's the weather like outside, how hot is it, where is it sitting in the rick house, is it on the bottom, is it on the top, like, all of that changes the flavor, the mash, like, what percentage, you could put, like, 64% corn, and then another one you can do, like, 66% corn, and that would be a whole different
Yeah, but that's the
profile.
funny thing about Jack Daniels. It's just, other than going into their rye and their single malts and all stuff, if you actually take the core of Jack Daniels, it's all the same exact mash bill.
Right.
It's just how they actually age it.
So that's even better
And
point,
it's
yeah.
what they do with the barrels, how they age it, whether or not they actually like double barrel it, or they actually cut groove like the Sinatra. They cut grooves in the barrel and all stuff, so it actually has more surface area. There's so much unique things that Jack does with the same exact mash bill that they've actually been using since the 1800s.
Which is crazy. It's such a mind-blowing. I don't even know really how to put it into words. It's just how you can get so many different flavors from literally the same mash bill.
Yeah.
How it's aged, temperatures, all that. It's just what makes it so interesting.
Welcome to learning with Wicked Whiskey.
Again, from the knowledge that I had when I first started this to now, it's just there's. I feel like there's always more. There's just more you can learn. It's never ending. It just.
Yeah, I went down that big rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and
I'm going down.
You're going down it now and all stuff, but it's not just whiskey. It's all crafts, spirits. Is the time, the effort, the passion that the distillers actually have with with their craft and what they're doing makes me like really why I actually like got into this and why I actually like really like realized that again the stuff that's in the glass is amazing, but it's actually everything that around the glass. Again, like I say, it's like more than what's in the glass, because there's a process on how it gets into the glass, and it is
Exactly.
with the barrels, how the barrels are even created,
Yeah,
what type of barrels.
That's a whole nother thing.
The char differences, and, differences between toasted and char, and
Different
it's
levels
just
of stars and stuff. How hot they burn it, how quick they burn it.
yeah, and it's all comes up to what's in the glass, and then once you actually have it in the glass, it's it goes out, and all the people that are actually out there enjoying this are bonded by that what's in that glass.
Exactly, it brings us together. I was gonna say that the next little topic we could talk about is it's more than what's in the glass, but I think we've
I think we just talked about that.
kind of already summed that up.
It is more than what's in the glass. It's anybody can actually like go and pour something into a glass, nose it, get notes, get tasting notes, get the caramels and the vanillas and all that, but there's more to that than again the tasting notes. It's once you actually have that sip, it brings you, and like everybody says, and like all of YouTube bourbon podcasts say that notes, tasting notes, and palates and your experiences are all suggestive, but when you can actually like go and take a nosing of a good glass, and it brings you back to a moment in time, or it calms you in that moment, and that's when it actually becomes more than what's in the glass,
right?
Because you're remembering something, you're actually getting involved with something, you're getting emotional about something that you weren't even thinking about,
Right. It's that euphoria that kind of just takes over you when you get, again, like certain smells bring back certain times. I know there's like a cologne or a perfume you might smell that reminds you of like your mom or your grandparents that may not be here. And
we were talking about this earlier and all that stuff. Is one of the barrels that the bottles that we're trying and all that stuff brought me back to sitting in my grandfather's lap and all that stuff with his while he was his pipe and smoking the cherry tobacco and all stuff out of his pipe. Is just that note that brought me back to that moment. Yeah.
More than what's in the glass.
It's more than what's in the glass. That's going to be our theme forever.
I was going to say, I'm just looking through notes so we don't kind of get sidetracked and stuff. But I'm looking at the bullet points of what's more than what's in the glass. But it's like, what does it mean? We've covered it. We've kind of covered it. And, like, how did it become the slogan? And I feel like it was just fitting. It just kind of slipped in. I started doing, the videos and, like I was saying earlier, we would go to shares and I would hear it every share, like we would be talking like this and someone would mention, it's more than what was in the glass. We're here for what's more than what's in the glass. It's more than what's in the glass. And did a video and then it kind of just happened and I just stuck with it. So I've been doing it,
Yeah, and I even on my pop-ups page and all that stuff, I wrote a big thing about why it's more than what's in the glass, and it just reiterates everything that we've just said. And so it's like hard to ask me questions or how that is because we just talked about it.
Yeah,
and this is a good thing about this podcast. We're just two guys rambling and talking and just kind of like giving you information about us and what we're about, and that's our slogan.
Right. That kind of brings us into the next subject, and we've kind of touched on it a few times. Men's mental health. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I know I just did a couple of videos. I've been trying to bring awareness to it because it is something that's kind of close to me, and I've lost some friends due to suicide. And I know, especially in my line of work, I know it's actually a statistic, but the construction industry, blue collar, is one of the highest rates for men who actually commit suicide. And kind of want to just bring up to why do we think that is? Why is it so hard for men to talk to people? Why is it something I kind of noticed that sometimes it seems like it's easier to talk to a stranger, someone you don't know, about what's going on or what's bothering you than someone that's like a close friend or a family member, or sister, or brother, or whatever.
Well, I think I touched on it, earlier. But for me, and probably you too, I don't know about you, but for me specifically, Gen X, we grew up being told to shut up, hide your feelings, go outside and play, rub some dirt on it, and all stuff, and so you grew up with that. So that was actually a normal thing for you, and the realistic part of it is, over the years of just that repetitive, shut up, don't talk about your feelings. You're a man. Okay, man up or suck it up, and those things get drilled into your head to the point where it becomes reality, and so it's really hard to actually get out of that. I still struggle with that a lot, and the other point why it's easier to talk to a stranger or somebody and all stuff is because you are actually dealing with this emotional baggage, this tornado of emotions and thoughts that are going through your head, the struggles and the demons that you're actually dealing with. You don't want to actually put that onto your significant other, your spouse, or a good friend and all that stuff, because you are now putting your pain, your struggle and all that stuff onto them, and now they're going to stop worrying, and now they're actually feeling your demons and they're feeling your pain because you brought it to them.
They're going to be worrying about you and worry about how you're thinking, right. And now it's just another stress on them.
So us as men and all that stuff, as stronger men, you know, you don't want to do that. You don't want to put that burden on somebody else. So you keep it to yourself.
Right.
Makes it harder. And then so when you find somebody that's actually dealing with the same stuff that you're doing, that's actually outside of your bubble, your family and all stuff, it's easier to. So yeah, I deal with that too, because you're not actually feeling that they're going to take it and become, you know, worried about you. They're going to actually listen to you. They're going to talk to you and say, yeah, I'm dealing with that too.
Right. And that kind of brings me to therapists. You know, some people hate the thought of talking to a therapist because, again, it makes them feel weak. I, for one, am not a fan. That's not to say that it doesn't work for people, because it does. I know people who have talked to therapists and it has done them numbers. But for me personally, again, it's just like that's their job. They're there to listen to you. So talking to a stranger, it might be easy to talk to them because they can't pass judgment, and they're not bringing this home because, you know, this is their job. This is what they do. I talked to a therapist, and it kind of made me, I wouldn't say made me feel weak, but I was afraid to tell people that I was talking to a therapist because I didn't want them to think, well, oh, he must be weak, he can't talk, or, you know, like it made me feel some type of way that I didn't like. So I went through it. My doctor suggested it. I went through it, you know, and then they want to put you on medications and all that.
That's the other thing,
never about,
you know, stuff is the first thing that they're actually going to do, and this is like one thing that always worries me because specifically, you know, I live in New Hampshire and, you know, live free or die. We actually have really good, you know, gun rights here. But as soon as you actually start talking to a therapist or tell somebody that you're feeling depressed and all stuff, there's going to be a little mark on your medical record saying that you're depressed.
I was going to get
and then
that.
it's going to actually, like, you know, follow you, and make it harder for you to actually, like, you know, go out and actually, like, get a firearm or something like that.
I was going to say, because in a way you still kind of have to be careful what you tell them because, you know what I mean, like.
So that's why
they will mark it down. They'll take stuff away. They'll section you and stuff like that. And so it's like, in a way, I still feel like, again, why I don't really like them. So I feel like you're not really fully being 100% with them.
But that's what we're trying to fix with this Ben's health awareness, you know, month, is making it, telling you guys out there that it is okay to actually, like, talk. It is okay if it's not with, you know, your spouse or a good friend and all stuff. You know, maybe it is actually a therapist or a counselor or something and all stuff. Somebody that you know is not just going to toss pills in your way.
Yeah, I've never been for the medication thing. I've seen what it's done.
This is my medication.
Yeah,
right? This is my medication. Is talking like this and this. So
let's get into this. By the way, see it out enough. Oh yeah, that phenol's kind of going to get a lot of that banana.
That Bananas Foster's low oaky.
It's just so good. But I get banana and oak, caramel, burnt sugar.
That burnt sugar, caramel, kind of creme brulee-ish, with or again perfect. You know, everybody says it with Jack Daniels or Jack Daniels. That Bananas Phosphorus, if done right, when you lit that, you know, that pan on fire with the brandy and it's like, that is.
Tastes a lot better than I remember.
That is actually really good. That is actually a good pour.
Very good.
I'm going to actually have to visit batch 1 again.
I was going to say, that's going to have to be something for another time, or go back to batch 1 and do a side-by-side with those.
We should do that as another video.
Definitely.
But that's actually, like, just sweet caramel oak.
Can't go wrong with Jack, man. I don't think I've ever had a Jack I didn't like.
Well, thank you for that. That's...
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. What's next on the feels?
Yeah.
You as a man, as a provider, trying to just, you know, make sure that you're, your wife, your children, and all stuff grew up with, being happy, being, successful, being able to actually eventually one day provide for themselves.
Right.
Getting good education, getting also. My kids are older and grown up and half moved out, so but it's seeing them succeed. As a father, I would rather see them succeed than have them worry about what I'm going through.
Right. I mean, I didn't have the worst childhood. I mean, it wasn't the best either. But I mean, a lot of happy memories. But again, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that kind of haunts you as you grow up that you look back at and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I as a father, again, not that I had a horrible life. We always had fun. We did vacations, but I think it's every father's goal is to have a better life and give your kids a better life than
Absolutely.
you had.
I think when me and my wife decided to get married, first things out of my mouth when we actually decided that, she said yes, or actually she laughed at me, walked away, then came back and said yes. There was a whole other story on that one.
Right.
But the first thing that I actually said is, I want to make sure that I do not raise my kids like I was raised.
Right.
And every guy kind of goes through that. Whether or
Yeah.
not you had a good childhood or you had a shitty childhood, you want better for your kids.
You always want to do better for your kids, and that is my. And I can see why that puts a lot of pressure on men too, which is added stress and why you get in your head. I mean, everyone handles their. I think that adds pressure to being a better father, and I think that's why some men will get into their own heads. Is ask that question: is am I a good father? Am I a good husband? Because you always want to do better than you did, and I feel like that question just doesn't go away. Is am I doing enough? You could be doing the most, and it still to you it might not be enough because you just want to give them the world. Some statistics that I wanted to bring up: nearly 80% of suicide deaths in the United States are men, which is crazy. Men are significantly less likely to seek mental health treatment, and many men suffer in silence because they don't want to be a burden to others, which is what we actually were just talking about.
Yeah,
just,
and it's a reality that men just don't know how to actually feel.
All those kind of fall in place too and make sense to why it would be higher for men, because women, they're emotional. It's all right for them to cry, and that's again like you were saying how you were raised to be a man, don't cry, toughen up. Women, it's they're the glue to the family, so they have a lot of pressure. They have, not to say that they don't have mental health issues, but it's a lot easier for them to open up.
They want to actually have somebody to cry on their shoulder and all stuff. They want somebody to hold them and worry about them. It makes them feel validated and wanted. Where a guy doesn't want that. Yeah. A guy is, it's like, leave me alone.
Don't touch me. Yeah, get away from me.
I'm going to go and take a ride, or I'm going to go and do, go hang out with some buddies or something like that. I want to get out of, the situation.
Right.
And it's because we're not built the same.
Right. And that's why, for example, that's why talking is huge, especially with your spouse, because, not to really get into old relationships, but I've been in relationships where, we would bottle our feelings up. We wouldn't talk to each other, and we would fight, and it was just constantly fighting. And then because you weren't talking about it, you would bring stuff up from the past that you were already way past, and then it would bring it back up. My wife now, we talk about everything. If something's going on, I guess she knows instantly when something's wrong with me. She can just tell. She'll ask me. And I still try to say I'm fine, but she knows.
I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
I still I think the only two arguments that me and my wife have ever had in the past 10, 15 years is what we're doing for dinner.
Yeah, of course.
And
pick up your
why
damn
I'm not talking to her.
Yeah.
Oh, and okay, so there's a third and all stuff. Why am I always picking up after you? Well, because you buried me.
So that's how it is with me and my wife. Like, we don't have fights, we don't have arguments. I know I do things that piss her off, but she tells me,
We're guys.
we're guys. That's just us. Like, why am I leaving my socks 2 feet in front of the hamper? I I am guilty of that. Like, I
Why
make
am I
a
leaving
mess.
plastic bottles all over the place?
Yeah, I my side of the bed, I got like 3 empty water bottles, kind of stuffed.
Same thing.
She's a clean freak, so she cleans it. I'll come home and she's washing the floorboards. I'm like, what are you doing? That's something I don't think about, but you know what? It's a good feeling. Like, my house is clean and she loves doing it.
Yeah.
And we don't fight, and I love it. It's just, and we talk, and
But the thing is, and all stuff is when you're actually going through something, or you have that demon pop up in your head, stuff. Just it could be a bad day. It could be just something and all stuff. You don't want to talk about it.
No.
You don't want to actually sit there and again, like I said before, your demons are your demons. You don't want to actually hand those demons off to your wife, because now she's going to be dealing with those demons and worrying and having an issue, and we're not built the same way. She can, my wife, we talk all the time until it comes to what I'm actually dealing with, because I don't want to talk to her about it. It's tough. I still struggle with it. I will continue struggling with it. I'm trying to get better. I'm recognizing that there's an issue, and again, having people like Matt or Hal, another co-founder of the group, and all that stuff, having guys like you to be able to talk to open up with, makes it easier.
Right.
It makes it easier to actually understand that my wife is not really there to actually judge me. She does want to help.
Right.
But it's still tough.
I worry about things that I would tell her, that I'm thinking of or going through, because again, like we've said multiple times, you don't want her to think about that stuff. And I always thought that if I were to have told her what's really on my mind, that she would think less of me or different of me, or think I'm...
No, I don't know if it would be, for me anyways, I don't think it would actually be the less of me. I think it's that pity look.
Yeah.
That bothers me than anything. And it's where you're talking about, tell her something and all stuff, and next thing you know and all stuff, it looks like she's pitying you. And for a guy my age, and who's again grown up with being told, suck it up, your feelings are, whatever, go play, go rub some dirt on it and whatever. Now to actually have somebody else actually worry about you, that bothers me. Right. It's one of those things where it's a struggle. And so again, with this June's men's mental health awareness, it's something that I'm coming out and I'm trying to actually learn better and try to do better. I've written, on my Facebook page about this situation. I've actually have been dealing with it for a while. I've created again AI songs about what's going on in my head, and it's
a good way to get it out if you can't talk to somebody, though. I know it kind of sounds silly to some people, but I mean, it is a way to get things out into some, even if you don't show anybody.
That's one of the things that I wanted to actually bring up with this is, with men's health awareness, not just with for June, but anytime. You need an outlet. You need something to actually get your mind out of it. Whether it's playing a video game or going for a long drive, writing down in a journal, or writing stupid AI music or something like that, because I have no musical talent at all, so I'm going to have a computer do it for me.
It works.
But having some kind of outlet to help you get through those rough times. But at the same time, know that there are people out there that are dealing with the same things that you're dealing with. There are people out there that are actually struggling, that, every now and then, how about reach out, say hi, talk to a friend, talk to somebody that you may know that is going through some tough times, because we all need that.
Even if they say they're fine. because that's the most famous line any guy says is "I'm fine."
I'm fine.
I've always been able to pick up these vibes on people. I can walk into a room and just know that something's off. If you tell me you're fine, I'm gonna know something's wrong. But like you said, just call that one friend, call that one family member, text them, just ask them how they're doing. And sometimes that's all it really takes is just letting somebody know that you're there and you can talk to them, and they're not alone. A lot of us have gone through the same things, and I think that's a big focus, is just...
Which is going to bring me to our next point and all that stuff, and I want to actually do this, is how are you doing?
Kind of took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you at this point. I'm fine. No, I'm fine. Honestly, it's been rough. I've gone through a lot in life. I know we have our age difference, but I feel like we are pretty similar on stuff that we've already gone through. I had to grow up pretty early in life. Not to say I didn't have a childhood, but I think there's some of my friends who had more of a childhood more than I did. And that's speaking from my brother and my sister especially. My sister especially. She kind of raised us a lot. You know, my parents were either busy or out or partying or something. So my sister did a lot of the parenting. And it just seems like it's one hardship after another. We never catch a break. But again, this whole figure it the fuck out thing. You know, we figure it out. That's it. That's all you can really do. And you know, we've had our stretches of calm. You know, nothing going on. But you know, just recently we've been going through a lot. My sister's been going through a lot again, especially. My sister can't seem to catch a break more than any of us. Which kind of like brings us to
Nice. The segue into
the next little topic here is my brother-in-law Jonathan, my sister's fiance. Just a quick little story before we even get into that is my sister was married, went through a divorce, had a kid during COVID. She was by herself during COVID. It was just a rough time, and she went through ups and downs, and then she met John. She had felt a love that she's never felt before, and everything was great. And I think they were around 2 years together at the time, you know, and then everything was just smooth finally for the Clark family. Everything was just going good. And then last November, John got diagnosed with ALS, and it just hit. It was fast. By February, he was already vented. In a bed, can't move anything, can't talk, basically just down to facial expressions, moving his eyes and his mouth, feet, nothing worked, just basically his facial expressions, stuff like that. And it's been tough to watch somebody you love go through that. I love that guy. I mean, he's made my sister happy. He you know, happiest I've seen her in a long time, and for this to happen to someone like him is just not fair. And I just can't imagine what goes through his head, you know, giving a timeline of what your life now expectancy will be, like giving, hey, like you have this much time left, like, and as a man, again, as being a provider, a father, a husband, all of a sudden, all of that worries us is just stripped away from you, and you're just stuck in a bed. Like, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to go into his head, but it's just like, where is he mentally? I know it's not good, but
yeah,
it's tough.
It is a horrible disease. It's a horrible situation for anybody to go through. But now knowing that, you know, you're sitting there and all stuff, not being able to do anything, not being able to provide, not being able to be that strong man for your family, that's got to be tough.
It's got to be heavy, man.
Heavy.
Just
not just that. And let's get ALS doesn't just actually affect that one person either. Your sister's going through a lot because of this.
Yep.
You're going through a lot. People that are actually helping out are going through a lot of feelings, a lot of issues, because now you're worried about him, his life expectancy, how he's feeling, what his mental stability is going through, and then at the same time you are trying to be there also as a rock for your sister,
Right.
for them to actually get through. So this disease affects everybody.
And it sucks that I have to see it firsthand, because I mean, me, my sister, and my brother, we've always been super close, super tight, and it just, again, it's affecting everybody, because it's stressful, because my sister is the full-time caregiver. She has to care for him 24/7. I help as much as I can. My brother has been an enormous help. I can't even really take credit for helping as much. You know, he owns his own business, so that's a weight itself. He's got 3 kids, a wife. That's a lot. And then, you know, he's got to constantly be there to help my sister, but it's just like, my sister doesn't have anybody. It's just us. It's, you know, we got to be the ones that go over there and help. And he's been such a great help. But I see like the tension that it can bring, because, you know, he's got to get stuff done. He's got his business. He doesn't see his kids as much. Like, so like, it affects everybody, you know. And my sister's, she's just like at a point where it's just like, what do I do? You know, it's just hard, especially with insurances and nurses and like getting the help. It's so much. Just watching them go through it. Just sucks. I mean, this is the second time I've seen somebody go through ALS, and this time being someone that's even closer to me. It's just, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It's just such a horrible way to go. Just becoming like motionless, and just have to be literally cared and moved, and I don't know. It's just, but we'll try to bring awareness to it. You know, that's all I can really try to do, is to try to help and be there.
More than dumping a bucket of ice on your head.
Yeah.
We all went through that phase a few years ago when ALS was actually a big topic, and you know, we went through the ice challenge and whatever. I don't want to do that. I want to actually challenge anybody that's actually listening that really wants to actually like step up and help. You have, you know, was it the Facebook page? I mean, not an Amazon thing, and also
so
to help out with any kind of care.
We do have a GoFundMe, and we have a Amazon list that we put together for like basic needs, things that you're constantly going through, like wipes and like pillowcases, stuff like that. Just stuff that like she goes through, creams and medicines and lotions, and just stuff that you don't think adds up, but it does. And it's not that it goes away. It's not you can buy like a bundle of it. It's something that's reoccurring. You just got to keep buying it. It just doesn't go away. But there are ways you can help. We have a GoFundMe. We have the Amazon list. And even if you don't want to contribute to that, or you can't, or we get it, anything helps. Literally just sharing this and pushing this out there. Just getting the word out. ALS awareness. Again, just sharing this would help. It means the world to us. Doesn't have to be money. Again, just putting it out there is still just as meaningful as donating $5, $10, $20. Doesn't matter. I just want to get it out there, you know, so people can understand that it's, again, like you were saying, it's more than just the disease. It affects everyone around them. It's just tough to go through, and I really hope nobody ever has to experience this. And yeah. All
right, let's actually like try to end up on a happier note. We went down some deep holes. So thank you for those that are actually sticking with us through this very first really raw, really expressive podcast. So if you're still with us, thank you. If not, I'm sorry. But what's next? It's
kind of closing out. I guess we're just kind of just shoot the shit at this point, you know. Let's see. Let me check this real quick. I'll cut it there, and I'll not cut it, but I mean, like, we'll edit
pause
that out.
and edit that out.
It's kind of just closing at this point. Like, at the end of the day, that's what
I
this
actually like
podcast is about.
what maybe we like bring up what we're actually looking forward to coming up with the group and all
Yep.
that stuff, and what
Okay,
we want to
that's
actually
perfect.
do, and then we can actually like kind of like close it off, and also just shoot the shit about where we want to see
Where we're gonna,
where we
the
wanna
future
go.
and
The
where we're gonna
future
be.
also.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I can bring this up too as the other pick with Duxbury.
Oh,
That's another thing that could be coming.
Yeah.
All
All right, so
right. So on a better note, and again, let's try to end this on more happy thoughts. We have some store picks that we're working on, some barrels. John just went down to Kentucky.
so those are coming.
Those are coming. We have another video on that. But he did a barrel pick with Burlington Wine and Spirits at Doc Arts that he fell in love with. So keep that in mind. That'll be coming soon. I am working on another barrel pick with Jack Daniels. I believe it's going to be a single barrel proof rye. That is with a Duxbury package liquor store out in Duxbury. This guy LP, great guy. So that's another thing that could be coming. I've been dabbling in some shirts. I know we're talking about making shirts and stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna make like an order to like just have sit there. So if you do want one, just let me know and I'll grab one for you. So there's plenty of stuff coming. And again, we were saying earlier, I didn't expect the group to be where it is right now.
No, we kind of grew really quick, really fast, doing more things, getting out there, having a face out there, kind of, the face of
My ugly
Wicked
mug.
Whiskey and all stuff is, you've been doing such a great job. Again, a while, not that long ago and all that stuff, I actually kind of said I wanted to, kind of like not really step back, but I kind of like get out of the limelight and all stuff, and just get back to like the core of like what I wanted and all stuff. So I actually like told Matt and I told the group and all stuff. I want actually like, I do want the group to grow. I do want us to actually like get involved with social media, get out there and all stuff. And Matt took that on in a big way, and the networking that he has actually done, meeting with a lot of those of you out there.
I met a lot of great people.
A lot of good people. My question is I'll always be behind the scenes, and I'll do a video here or there, or I'll write some blog or story and all that stuff. But the real kind of face of Wicked Whiskey Society right now is Matt. And so with you being kind of like the spearhead to the social media group and the part of that, where do you want to actually see Wicked Whiskey go? Where do we want to actually like, see ourselves in a year or 2 years or whatever?
So my vision originally was just us being the group that we are and like doing barrel picks and stuff until we got a little taste of the barrel picks and how fun that was. And I want to do that all the time. It's such an experience. But now, especially after the podcast and all this stuff, and I want to be able to bring like awareness. I want to be able to show people that, again, it's more than what's in the glass. I want to continue doing barrel picks because it's such a fun experiences, and we have such a diverse group with different palates, and I think we can really come up with some awesome stuff. But I think in the long run, it's just really to kind of like bring awareness to different subjects and like gain an audience, where we can talk about different subjects and different things that are going on. But again, the bourbon is what brings us here together. But the bourbon, again, it's more than what's in the glass. Like that's
How many times am I
really
going to say this?
that's really
But
what this is all about, and that's what I want to see in the future is us coming together as a community. Which I have to mention is I've been a part of car communities, my firearms, the gun communities, the gun clubs that I've been a part of. I even had a beard club back in the day. Me and my buddy Jeremy, we're actually going to do a podcast together because we were trying to start a podcast about men's mental health before, and the whole beard thing kind of just faded out. But, I just want to bring awareness. I want to bring everyone together. But again, my point was this community, the Bourbon community, has been one of the best communities I've ever been a part of in my entire life. So many like-minded people. So many people here for the same reasons. It's just a good way to kind of vent and, not be judged, because I feel like a lot of people in this community are in the same same boat. So, that's kind of my vision.
I'm gonna reiterate that also. I love the fact that you want to actually get there, do the barrel picks, and those barrel picks are fun and whatever. What I want to actually see, and I want to be the group. There's so many whiskey YouTubers or whiskey podcasts and all stuff. I want to actually bring it more to be about more than what's in the glass. I want to actually make sure that we actually give the stories. We give the history of something. Give you kind of like a no BS kind of no tasting notes kind of what we actually joke about is the Hal's one-liners.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted to start like a segment or some sort of episode where it's literally Hal. It'll be like a 30-second short, and it's just Hal. It's just smells good. All right, let's get to the palate. Awesome.
Great. Or
Great. Shit. I think that would be hilarious.
But just actually having the reviews that you do, the small little things.
Right.
I want to do cocktail things that are simple, but there's so many of them out there. How do you be different? So I think I want to actually continue our path in the social media group. I still want to actually have our core group be the bottle share, get together, relax type thing.
Once a month.
I still want that. So that's never I don't think that's actually gonna change.
Right.
But I would love to actually be here for you guys out there in podcast world to listen to us ramble. A couple of guys just hanging out and not really giving a crap about what is in the glass. We're caring about just being there.
Right. And I think the most important thing is just make sure we all have fun doing this. Really, that's kind of what it comes down to, is we're having a good time. We're having fun doing it. And again, something like this is so therapeutic to me that it's helping me mentally. And I just want to keep that
and
going.
We want to bring you guys along too, because again, like Matt said, the whiskey community in whole, whether or not you're a podcaster, influencer, you do TikTok, or you're just a guy watching this crap, we all actually have that common denominator, which is a good pour, sitting down and passing time. Again, you need an outlet. Let it be watching some guys on YouTube or whatever, just shooting the shit. Do something. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Right.
We did a thing.
We did.
We did a thing. Our very first podcast, and
I think it went pretty well.
I'm hoping it went okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do more things. The settings might change. I might actually remember to plug in my switchboard.
Yeah, because we do have other members, and we do have other spots where we do shares, and I think it would be cool just to not be the same setting, same place every single time. It's just what you expect. We have plenty of other members where we can set this stuff up, and we just have fun with it again. We'll do reviews, and we'll talk about this and talk about that, and
histories and
history,
or just uplifting kind of videos.
Right.
Your old fashioned videos are actually a hit for me. So
Making old fashioned with me. You know where I got that from is because watching TikToks. It's those people. It's like the get ready with me, but it's like the abbreviations of get ready.
I actually kind of love them, but even after watching your one video and all stuff, here I am critiquing all stuff. It's like I need to teach you actually how to stir.
Well, to be fair, in that video I sped that up, so it was like. But no, I'd slow down the stirring a little bit. I'm still learning, but he is the master of the old fashioned. So yeah, I mean, closing out, I guess you can find us on YouTube. Like and follow us on there. We're on Instagram. I think the Instagram is what we're mostly active on. We have the Facebook, which is kind of mostly towards like core members and some other people that kind of just follow us. We do have a Spotify, which we'll be putting the podcast on. Just trying to get that fired up. But and if you want to donate, again, I got links that I'll post. And you can help out there, or even, again, just sharing the videos that I posted about John, or even this. That concludes, I guess, our first ever Wicked Whiskey Podcast, episode 1. We're going to be calling it It's More Than What's in the Glass, because that is what you've heard probably a million times. So, as always, John, it's more than what's in the glass. Cheers.
Pour it up, light it low, another night, another show. Good friends, good poor stories about past, because it's more than what's in the glass. Welcome to the Wicked Whiskey Podcast.